get to the phones. Seattle's in the Super Bowl. New England's in the Super Bowl. What do the Lions need to take from those teams? How they did it? What's the lesson to be learned? Let's go to Michael on a cell. You're on 97.1.
Yeah, hey guys, first time, long time. Yeah, I grew up a Peyton Manning fan, and I watched him throw for 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns multiple times, go to the playoffs and lose. He won 2 Super Bowls. The first one he won against Chicago, he had Bob Sanders and Dwight Freeney that just dominated the defensive side of the ball. Jared Goff keeps throwing for all these yards and getting to the playoffs. Well, he didn't get to the playoffs this year. But the thought is, like, we overpaid Hutch. Brian Branch is hurt. Without a defense that's dominant, we're talking about Peyton Manning that couldn't win Super Bowls, and we're going in with Jared Goff. I mean, I'm a transplant. I love pulling for the Lions, but they're going to have to do something on the defensive side of the ball. And with that contract with Hutch, it's just going to be hard to get more pieces to put around him.
I think you just need to be more creative.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think this is the dead end. It shouldn't be the dead end. A good, savvy executive is going to restructure some of these contracts, going to free up some space, and you're going to be right back in it. Now, we'll find out if Brad Holmes has got it in him.
Well, and I think it's also going to be, you're going to have to operate differently. You've given out a lot of these contracts. You also going to have to find ways when you feel like going into, you sign those contracts because you feel it was market value, and it was going to continue to be market value. Some of them haven't been. How do you get out from underneath some of these contracts? We've seen Seattle do it.
Oh.
We've seen Denver do it. We've seen other teams do it, and it can be uncomfortable, and it can be painful, but it's something that you're just going to have to do things differently than you have previously.
Yeah, think about it. You mentioned Denver and Seattle. They both had Russell Wilson and got rid of him.
Yeah.
Now, Seattle got more for him. Denver had to dump his body, but both teams were able to pivot from that point and get to a conference title game in the case of Denver and a Super Bowl appearance now for Seattle. Bobby Wagner is a Hall of Fame legend. Why would you cut him? Well, because it's a business. Well, why would I cut Taylor Decker? I got to save $18 million. How the hell am I going to help Aiden Hutchinson on defense? Right? You know what I mean? Like, I can restructure Goff. I can restructure St. Brown. Like, there are ways to do this, but some of it's going to be, hey, I can't keep everybody, and I have to tell people who I like as people and players that your time is up. I have to be the villain, John. How about that? You going to wear it on your hoodie? Cut your starting left tackle. I'm not saying it as a demand. I'm just giving it as an example. Like, if you're a villain, you make cutthroat decisions. You move off of guys who you otherwise liked because you need to.
Well, and for Bobby Wagner, right, it was he was there for nearly a decade, and they decided after the 21 season, we need to move on. And then it was in 22, he played for the Rams. In 23, he was actually back in Seattle. But it was at the cost that Seattle wanted to pay.
Right.
And then at that same time, he said, you know what, I'm still not done playing. They said, well, you're done here.
Right.
So they did it twice.
They told him no twice. A franchise legend, a player whose number has to be retired. And they told him, see it, don't let the door hit you twice.
It's just, you have to operate this as a, how do we win a Super Bowl? And there's going to be hurt feelings. There's going to be mistakes along the way.
Of course.
But you have to find ways to overcome those mistakes.
Like, I'd have to look at dead money, but, like, are there guys on defense that they've paid they shouldn't have, that they have to get out from under? Like, these are conversations you have to be willing to have if you're going to get over the hump. 248-539-9797. Let's go to Rich in Detroit. Rich, you're on 97.1.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
How you doing?
All right. Man, the hardest thing and the takeaway that I got from watching this game, it wasn't Stafford. I was actually rooting for Stafford. Like, I'm not a hater. Why not go for 2, before he get out of here? But I'm tired of seeing key players leave the Lions and then go win the chip. Like C.J. Gardner, he said something about the Lions. Oh, they're not the team that's going to get me the ring, and then he go win one. And then watching Carlton Davis yesterday. Even Isaiah Buggs won with Chiefs when he left us. Matthew Stafford, everybody that's key players for the Lions leave the Lions and then go win one. It's just hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think the only key player was Matthew Stafford. Bugs, the Chiefs didn't win because of Bugs, and the Eagles didn't win because of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, he was a component that made up a team.
But how about the Carlton Davis point? Because they chose to save a buck to go with a cheaper option in
DJ Reed.
DJ Reed.
Well, not a whole lot cheaper, but
the difference wasn't. I don't know that the difference was they thought DJ Reed was the better corner. I think the difference was it was a bit of a cash savings.
Yes,
and we knew they rolled over cap space into this next season. So, would you have been better spending that cap space on Carlton Davis?
Well, okay, so I'm not going to sit there and look at Carlton Davis's season, but DJ Reed without the injury, would it have been a wash? Now we're looking at it with the perspective of he had the hamstring injury, and when he came back, he wasn't the same player. So there's a lot of components. It's hard to compare those two.
Text coming in, 248-539-9797. 5 minutes left. If the Rams had kicked the field goal, plenty of time for their defense to get a stop like they did, and now you're only down one. Luke in a truck. Again, you'd still be down, and Seattle milked it inside of... How much time was left when the Rams took over? It was under 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, I'll find out.
Yeah, Greg says thumbs up. Yeah, my memory's right on that. They had under 30 seconds. No timeouts. That's what you were playing for? I know you only need a field goal, but, John, they didn't even get in field goal range.
Right.
So it's just a tough task. Like, you get 4 yards.
Yeah, they had 25 seconds left when they got the ball.
You got 4 yards. Or you can try to go 93 yards or cut it in half because you want to get in field goal range. Either way, that's a lot harder to do when the clock's crunched.
You're also calling plays with a quarterback that you think that we all think is the MVP. Yep. And so you tell him, go out there and win it for us.
You have Puka Nacua, you got Devontae Adams, you got a slew of tight ends. Kyron Williams had caught a touchdown pass earlier in the game as a good red zone weapon. You got 2 downs, 3rd and 4, 4th and 4. Problem is, Seattle put clamps on him. Nobody was open. They had to throw contested balls. Both of them were incomplete. It didn't work, so everybody says it's a bad decision. But the right decision was to get the ball back down 1 with 30 seconds.
I am not losing that way.
That's a really lousy way to go down. Like, I want to go down swinging with my quarterback.
Especially if you're at the 6-yard line. It's a completely different scenario if you're out at the 35.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, well, should we take the points here? We'll kick off, play defense, and see if we can get back into field goal range.
Or, John, if it's 4th and 12, and you're like, well, shoot, we're probably not going to convert.
Right.
Nah, I get a begrudgingly lousy effing field goal. We'll
they were at
the
6-yard line, and their first crack at 2nd and 4 was a 0-yard run.
Yep.
And then it was incompletion.
Taking the points isn't automatic, guys. That's something people need to remember. I'm sure the Lions were still plus positive on going forward on 4th. I'm sure the Rams were plus positive too. The game is now about stealing possessions. The Rams, this Texas didn't even get the ball back. They did, but basically didn't get a chance to do anything with it.
Right.
Eric from Detroit says these comments from fans are proof that St. Brown was right. A lot of fans don't know ball. Hutch is not the problem, and you absolutely go for it on 4th down in the red zone of an NFC Championship game with Stafford as your quarterback.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And it's not like, again, you're not at the 15. You're not just inside the red zone at the 20. You're at the 6, and you had 3 cracks at it at the 6.
Let's get to Josh and Warren. Josh, good morning.
Hey, guys. I don't know if anybody had the same feeling I had watching the Seattle game yesterday. I was starting to get angry as how well Stafford was playing in Seattle, considering how bad he played in Seattle when he had a playoff game here for us. But watching him potentially go to a second Super Bowl, like I had to watch JV go to another World Series and win it, I was getting angry because it was like, when is it going to happen for us?
Right.
This guy was going in there bawling in Seattle. I was turning into a Seattle fan right in front of my eyes because I couldn't handle watching him go to another Super Bowl. And potentially, he's going to win an MVP now, and it's almost the same arc as JV. And it was like, I can't have 2 sports pretty much ruined right now from our past mistakes that guys that should have won it here. And it was just painful. I don't know if anybody else had that experience watching how well Stafford was playing yesterday. It was bothering me. It was actually bothering me how well he was. He was actually like, it was like, where was this guy when he was here?
It's funny because we had that question if the Rams had won the game. Like, are you upset that Stafford is playing in another Super Bowl? Because I knew it would strike a nerve with people. Clearly, it's not a factor. They're eliminated. But as he's watching the game, he's getting worked up. Why couldn't he have done this here? He played Seattle in the playoffs. John, do you remember who Stafford's running back was when the Lions played the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs?
No.
Zach Zenner was his running back. The Lions ran for 49 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. Seattle on that day ran for 177.
Right.
Like they were getting killed at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. And so instead of being upset that you had a former quarterback playing for a Super Bowl, now are you almost a little bit encouraged because you're watching Sam Darnold get to the Super Bowl and it makes you believe that you can do it with Jared Goff? Because he's already been to a Super Bowl. He hasn't won it, and yet Sam Darnold has not won a Super Bowl yet either.
Yeah, I mean, John, my answer to the question is yes. Yeah, and I think that's something we continue exploring with Lions fans today is that question. Sam Darnold's in the Super Bowl. Does it make you feel better? Offer you hope? If Seattle can go to a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, you've got a quarterback capable. You just got to put the pieces around him. Maybe that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Because there aren't any excuses, but it should offer you hope. Hey, if Sam Darnold's quarterbacking a team in the Super Bowl,
it's right there.
It's right there. Overreact Jim's next, 97.1.